Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, off the Motor City Madmouth. Got a familiar face back on. He was a little busy for the last couple of weeks, but we're glad to have Joe Ellis back on the broadcast. Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. We know you're a big part of this show. That's why you got the first prompts today. And, of course, we'll go over the rest of the crew. George Eichhorn.
Hey, good to see y'all tonight.
And Candy Ebling.
Well, hello, gentlemen. Great to have us all back on the show tonight.
All right, well, here it is, folks. We're going to talk about the World Series tidbits, and we're going to give you an update on the World Series since obviously this show is at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. What's going on, Josh Shador? We're going on. What's going on, George Acorn? All right, going to call you an acorn. Okay, unless that's a pronunciation issue. Anyways, we're going to talk about the World Series, a little bit of NBA, Lions, and we're going to talk about the Miami Hurricanes tonight. With that said, Aaron Judge, prior to this game, okay, and I repeat, prior to this game, he had 1 hit, 12 at-bats, 7 strikeouts. So obviously that's changed. And why has it changed? Did he hit a home run today? Anybody want to talk about it? I think he did hit a home run, right, Candy?
Well, it's about time. It's about time, really. Here we are in game number 5, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And a lot of pressure on him, obviously. And we talked about this, I think, earlier in the week on the baseball show about the fact that, he was new to this kind of stage as far as the World Series goes. So, I mean, I will give him that. And, but the fact is that, it better late than never, whatever cliche you want to say, but he did get the home run tonight. So, I mean, that's a good first sign for him. See if the Yankees can hang on and stretch this series out. What do you guys think?
Listen, they have no pressure whatsoever at this point, being down 3-0, now 3-1. On paper, they've already lost. All they have to do is play one game at a time, and if they win, they get to play another game.
Candy?
I agree. I mean, the pressure was on Aaron Judge because everybody said he was one of the home run hitting leaders for the regular season. And so I think they put more pressure on him. And then I think he put pressure on himself. And I think he was overthinking it. And the other thing is we always talk about the hitter's side of things, but there's a pitcher on the other side that's trying to not let him hit as well. And they up their game just as much as the hitters try and overdo it as well. So we have to remember that there's pitchers out there pitching to them, and they don't want them to hit it. So they're going to do whatever they can to not allow them to hit. And Joshua, hello, since you said hi, Candy.
All right, let's not lose sight of a couple of facts here. First of all, okay, Aaron Judge is the captain. He's making a lot of money. So that's, to me, are 2 reasons why a man like him should feel under a lot of pressure. They look up to this guy. Every hitter in baseball has a slump. You hope it doesn't happen in the World Series like it has. But right now, the series is not over. It is not until the final out is made. And you know what? They can win another game here at Yankee Stadium. They have the Dodgers' attention, is what it is. So, let's face reality. Aaron Judge, they will win tonight, then it could be a very different series when you get it back to LA. I'll tell you, a guy that is having a great postseason is a guy by the name of Freddie Freeman. There's 6 straight World Series games where he's had a home run, which is a new record. So, you know what, JB? Some thoughts about the way Freddie Freeman is playing in the postseason.
Don't know why the Yankees are pitching to him, but nothing but class. He's done everything he's had to do, hitting the ball unbelievable. Great series. He's the MVP at this point. It's safe to say if the Yankees win tonight and it's 3-2, and somehow there's a miracle and they win Game 6 and Game 7 in LA, I think he could still be MVP. That's how impressive his series has been.
Okay, interesting take. George?
Well, yeah, Freddie, there was a lot of angst, as you guys know, when he left the Atlanta Braves. I mean, my daughter and my son-in-law live down there. and they would tell me how much he was obviously appreciated and loved down in Atlanta. And I know it was a tough situation, but boy, oh boy, he had to cash out when he could, obviously. And the LA Dodgers with the big pockets brought him on board. But my goodness, to hit consecutive home runs in so many games, just incredible. And as you guys know, he's had so many issues this year, personal issues as well as injuries and stuff. So, God, when talk about a time to wake up and be noticed. And Freeman is he's put together a really solid career, no question about it. And he's doing the job for the Dodgers right now, and I'm sure they're very thankful for that.
Okay, Candy.
He's set a record. He's hit in 6 straight World Series games. Yes, this dates back to his trip to the Fall Classic with Atlanta back in 2021. He has homered in every game of the 24 World Series, except obviously tonight he has yet to or hasn't at this point. But it's just really cool because he's a really cool guy. He's good for the game. And it's just neat to see when good players and good men do well. You always want to root for people like that. Whether he's on your team or not, you feel good for him. So,
By the way, speaking of Judge, you made a great defensive play over in center field, right up against the wall. And let's go to George. His comments. Judge is a 6'7" giant, and boy, he showed that height right at the wall a few moments ago. All right. Well, you know what? There is another Japanese angle that most people don't know about it, but it happened today on the first pitch. Hideki Matsui, the 2009 World Series MVP, throughout in Game 5, did throw out the first pitch. I am glad that they are recognizing Hideki Matsui. JB, did you live in New York at the time?
Yes, Hideki Matsui, great player, another classy guy. Just went out and played hard. Always fun to watch. Love the guy, and I'm glad that they honored him and had him throw out the first pitch, especially with Otani being in the World Series, so that everyone in Japan's watching. It just makes it that much more special that everyone there got to see Matsui do it.
All 15 million of them, I might add. Talk about the watt and the viewership in Japan, 15 million. George, yeah, Hideki Matsui without a doubt. Okay, is one of the best Japanese players to ever play Major League Baseball. I know Ichiro Suzuki will definitely be one, but Hideki Matsui and everything he brought and the class he brought to the Yankees. So how do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, I think it's a great honor. Anytime, obviously, that you're going to be asked to throw out the first pitch, but especially at the World Series between these two great franchises. And yeah, as JB alluded to, he had a wonderful career at the Yankees and certainly deserved the honor. I mean, you think about all these Yankee players that they could call up and say, well, let's see, who are we going to let this? Oh, I mean, beyond a doubt, there's so many to choose from. And I know that they work with Major League Baseball and who's going to do that. But boy, oh boy, that is a great honor for him and deserving too. Like you guys said, he's great guy, great man in the community. Obviously, the Asian people in Asia look up to him so much, and like they do Otani now. But yeah, he had a good time with the New York Yankees. Really good player.
Andy?
So he started out playing in Japan. Then he came to the Yankees back in 2003, played with them till 2009. 2010, he played with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Oakland Athletics, and Tampa Bay Rays. He is a 9-time All-Star, 3-time Japanese Series champion, 3-time Central League MVP, Japan Series MVP, 9-time Best 9 award. He is in the MLB. He's 2-time All-Star back in 2003 and 2004, World Series champion 2009, World Series MVP 2009. He was actually inducted into the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame back in 2018. So he had quite a long career. You got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, they say during his 20-year playing career, he hit 507 home runs. That is quite a feat.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I like to have a little bit of fun on this show. So I guess Josh Adore is going to be my whipping boy for tonight. Okay. He's going to have a heart attack, but that's okay. It shouldn't be too bad. He does know a little bit about Japanese sports, only he's got the wrong one. But this is a very comical Hideki. Let's put it up there. Hideki Matsuyama plays golf, not baseball. Good to know about that golf information, but at least they do swing some sort of an instrument. His Masters win was impressive. Good to know. I'm sure that maybe we could get the Golf Channel to go ahead and sponsor this show, but we know that Joshua is definitely trying so hard to get golf on here. But you know what? I got your hockey show. Josh, let me give you some good advice, brother. Support it, okay? More often, okay? No, we know you won't be on for Halloween. Hats off to Asher. But, here's a good question here, too, with George Ichor. What's your favorite type of sushi?
I don't eat the stuff. Sorry. I'll eat shrimp. I'll eat shrimp and fish, but not sushi. I'm sorry.
Well, I actually like the California roll now that I think about it. What about you, Joe? What's your favorite type of sushi?
I like most stuff, but I'm a spicy tuna roll guy.
Yeah, we know. Hey, Joshua, we know you support all of our shows. That's okay. We enjoy your comments. You do a great job. Always like to have loyal people in there that try to go out there and make positive contributions. Hey, listen, we even got your sushi one up there. I got to tell you though, I do go ahead and enjoy that stuff with the salmon and the cream cheese in there. I'm not sure what that one is. That's pretty good. What about you, Candy? You're not a big sushi person, are you?
I am not a sushi person. I'm with George. I don't do sushi. So
okay. Well, he likes. Don't expect chirashi. Ever heard of it? I don't know.
JB, you ever hear of that?
No.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get hungry. Candy did a good job making some good fish there. That's a JB. No, let's roll. All right. Let's talk about something that I'd rather not talk about, but unfortunately, it's part of this series, whether they want to know it or not. Yankees fans that interfered last night with the Mookie Betts were banned for tonight. All right, Candy, don't think you need a lot of research for this. So tell me what your thoughts about the fact that these guys got banned, but they did get refunded their money.
They should be banned for more than just that. They know better than to interfere with the play of the ball. I don't care who you are. I don't care what game it is. I don't care if it's regular season, playoff, World Series. You do not interfere with the player going for the ball, period.
Okay. Yeah, they did get refunded, Josh, just so you know. Shouldn't have. I agree. But what do you think, George? Interference?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, that was just blatant. I think it was a sad reflection on the Yankee fans that love the game and have fun and enjoy the game, but this 2-act play with both guys trying to either grab the ball or grab the guy's arm and the mitt and all that was pretty low. And of course, they denied him from attending, I believe, Game 5 tonight. I don't know what other punishment is awaiting, but yeah, that was pretty blatant. I didn't like that at all. Security was there, and of course, you had a right field umpire who saw what was going on. He was right there, right field line. But yeah, this guy, that was too much of being a bozo. I'm sorry.
Anybody else want to add to this?
Absolutely ridiculous. Two morons. They belong never to see another sporting event in person ever again. They're fans. They're not part of the team. Get out of there. In a way, I wish it would have happened when Barry Bonds was playing, because Barry Bonds would have decked them both. Mookie Betts has a lot of class. The way he answered the questions after the game, the way he responded. These two idiots, and ESPN for writing a story about them, is utterly ridiculous and unprofessional. The whole thing is just a fraud. The fact that the Yankees were going to allow him into Game 5 before MLB stepped in, disgraceful, utterly disgusting. And the two of them, they need to be deported.
You know what? I don't mind not having to say a lot, Joe, because you just took the words out of my mouth. Maybe not the exact words, because I'm not a mind reader. But you're pretty close. Really? Seriously? Good stuff. Okay. There you go. All right. Well, here's some good news, though. Came on the Yankees side of the equation. Anthony Volpe is the first player in MLB history to record 4 RBIs and 2 stolen bases in a World Series game. Not bad to be a first time in a World Series for something. So, Joe, since we left off with you, we're going to start with you about Anthony Volpe.
Listen, great for the kid. He's, he was a Yankee fan growing up. He got to go to the parade the last time they won in 2009. It's a lifelong dream. It's a great story, and I'm glad he's doing well, hit that grand slam. It's great to see. Good for him. I'm happy for him. And you never know who the hero is going to be on the biggest stages. And I'm glad he was able to enjoy it. I'm sure it was a great honor for him.
Okay, we'll turn it over to George Eichhorn.
Well, yeah, 23 years old, Volpe, and you look at his stats. He had a better year a year ago. 21 homers and 21 homers and 60 RBIs, and this year 12 homers. It dropped off and 60. But yeah, what a great time for you to be recognized and for putting yourself into the so-called record book as well. I mean, this kid is really, you could tell he loves the game, the way he plays that game, and the slow motion replays from some of his plays, and obviously his hitting this year. Fox has covered that really well. But yeah, what a great future it looks like he's got ahead of him. 23 years old, enjoying his life and enjoying a great spectacle such as the World Series, and you're playing for the championship of the world, basically. Congratulations to the kid.
All right, Kenzie.
What an unexpected, wonderful bat. Let's face it. There are so many big bats in the Yankees lineup, and sometimes we forget that these pitchers really target certain batters, and then maybe they let up a little bit on some of the other batters. So good for him for making the most out of his opportunity. And what a feeling for him to be able to hit a grand slam in a World Series for your team to win that game. Let's face it. I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, I can't imagine how he felt after that. That's just awesome on the biggest stage.
Yeah, I like to see unknown players become known, especially like you guys are saying on the big stage, and this guy definitely did it. That's for sure. All right, you know what? We're going to go on to the Miami Hurricanes real quickly. Then we're going to go to a station break. And yes, Michael Roberts, Pistons finally won a game 105-95 over the 76ers. All right.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Mike. Much appreciated. But we're going to talk about the Miami Hurricanes. Okay, it'll be a pretty interesting game this weekend. And
Wait. Can I just throw up a couple of little tidbits out since this is the World Series tidbit show?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the trophy that they're playing for, the Commissioner's Trophy, it's made of sterling silver and features flags from all 30 MLB teams. So, do we know when the first World Series was?
Go ahead,
Wasn't it
Candy.
1904?
1903. Good.
Okay.
What, the only team to not be in a World Series ever?
Ugh. Seattle?
Seattle
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Mariners.
George.
Good job. The first night game for World Series happened in 1971 between the Orioles and the Pirates. Whitey Ford holds the record for the most consecutive scoreless innings pitched in the World Series with 33. And who has the most World Series rings?
Well, I told you that.
Player, Berra, right?
Player
Yogi
or
Berra.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yogi Berra?
Yep.
Very good with 10. So that's just a couple of the young. Who was the youngest World Series MVP?
Alan Trammell.
Al Kaline.
Cheater.
Brett Saberhagen was the youngest World Series MVP, winning the award in 1985 at the age of 21 years, 6 months, and 16 days. That's it.
Let me tell you, I saw Brett Saberhagen actually play in the Florida State League for the Fort Myers Royals. Good player then, and obviously you know what he went on to do. All right, Candy. Now I'm going to go to my Miami Hurricanes reference. Candy and I will be covering the Miami Hurricanes and Duke Blue Devils. It's a battle of Manny Diaz, the predecessor to Mario Cristobal, Blue Devils go in the game at 6-2, and the Miami Hurricanes are 8 up with no losses. But get this. You want to know the key to their dominance right now is that Miami's offense has gone 3 and out on 3.3, and I repeat, 3.3% of the drives this season. That's the lowest rate by an FBS offense since 2009. This, according to True Media Sports. 3 of the 92 drives were actually ended with a punt and after 3 plays, but 2 of them were against the University of Florida, 1 3 and out in their last 82 drives. I couldn't make these numbers up if I wanted to, but let me tell you something. When you don't go 3 and out and you're scoring an awful lot of points, that is dangerous. And if that, for whatever it's worth, they only have Heisman Trophy candidate Cam Ward to the equation. Joe, you see a lot of what I put up there. You know I've been covering the Canes closely. What are your thoughts about what Miami Hurricanes offense has done this year?
They're impressive. I mean, the only thing that scares me with that team is they have a flair for the dramatics. They allow other teams to hang around, but offensively, they do it when it's necessary. You know, I remember the game. I forget what team they were playing, but you know, I had him in my parlay, and I fell asleep right after halftime. After the quarterback threw an interception, and I said, "That's it. The game's over." They ended up winning by a point. I mean, team's just full of heart. That offense is phenomenal. They just have to do their thing, and you know they can make waves.
All right, George.
Yeah, very few people, Scott, had them, being perfect so far, 8-0 overall. And then you look at this. You talk about the battle for supremacy in the great state of Florida, guys. Florida, they beat them. Florida A&M beat them. South Florida beat them. Florida State beat them. So, I mean, not only is the winning impressive, but the fact that they handled all these teams in the big state of Florida. I mean, you look at this team and, boy, I know they got Duke coming up, but they got a really good team. Cam Ward's done a great job. And what can you say, being 8-0 and number 5 in the nation right now, really terrific start to this year.
All right, Candy, you know
And
a
you know
lot
what
about the team.
You know what I'm going to say? We haven't
What?
seen their best yet. I don't think offensively they have fired on all cylinders for all 4 quarters of any one of those games. I've seen they've done really well at times, but there have been times there's been interceptions, there's dropped passes, and I know you see that with a lot of the teams, but I don't think we've seen the best that they can be yet. I think this is a product of, and some of them have been on that team for a number of years, like Xavier Restrepo has been on there for a couple of years. I think it goes to prove that with the right transfer portal, bringing in the right guys, keeping the right guys, because let's face it, with the transfer portal now, you have to recruit all of your guys, returning guys, and guys you're trying to come in. I think it proves that Mario Cristobal they've had some success and they're doing some of the right things. People in the beginning, because this is Cristobal's 3rd year, were almost quick to say that he wasn't going to be very successful because he didn't have a lot of success in the beginning. But I think it's a culture with him. And you hear that, and you hear people say that, but you say that you can hear that about Dan Campbell and the Lions, and how if the coach really is in tune with his players and his players are in tune with him, that they can do great things together. And so I really believe that they really want to play for this coach, that they really gel as a team. And I think that's important.
Well, number one, Xavier Restrepo is going to play on Sunday. I'll just take that right there. Cam Ward's going to play on Sunday. Mario Cristobal, I've always known, has been a great coach anyways. Wherever he's gone, he's won everywhere. So anybody that was going to get on his case early, they don't know a darn thing about football. Anyways, the guy's won everywhere, and he certainly is a part of 2 national championships as a player for the Miami Hurricanes. If anybody knows exactly what this program needs, then they'll get it's Mario Cristobal. So, but to be able to go ahead and put these numbers up to me is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, think about 3.3% when it comes to 3 and outs is just sensational. But don't discount the Canes running backs either. They got a great running attack as well. And Joe, the team that you were thinking about was University of California, the West Coast
Yes.
team.
Yes.
That's who you're referring to. You know, there were lots of ways they could have lost that game, but they did come back to win it at the very end. So, the Canes are what they are. They're a heck of a team. They've come a long way, and they're taking advantage of the transfer portal and all the tools that are available to them. With that said, we're going to a station break. Candy, go ahead.
Last November, the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book. It was written by Scott, your host, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, and the foreword was written by George Eichhorn, another panelist here. The title of the book is Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It talks about Scott's 40 plus years in the industry and media and how it's changed over those 40 years. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google Books. There is a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can also find all 3 of the gentlemen on this panel. They have written, and I've taken pictures, and it's all up there. Go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights on Sports Exchange and Fire Up. You never know what we're going to be talking about, so tune in. And then Thursday nights, we also have Fire Up Florida, which talks NHL hockey, especially the Florida Panthers. And Wednesday nights preceding this on nofilter.net is the Motor City Madmouth Show. Tribune South is our Twitter handle or X. And if you want to email us, show ideas, or be a guest, southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And if you want to advertise or sponsor any one or all of our shows, call Scott, 954-304-4941. If you see that red subscribe button, click it, like us, share us with everybody that you know that would enjoy. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you, Candy. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, let's go to the NBA in their first game of the 2024-25 season. The Boston Celtics, get this, tie an NBA record with 29 threes in a game. 29. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, my colleague Bob Ryan said today that 3-pointers are the worst thing to happen to basketball in his lifetime. Okay, Joe, I agree with my colleague. Bob Ryan's a good friend of mine. What are your thoughts? I had to bring this up here. These 3-pointers, to me,
It's a different game. It's horrible. I mean, that's all these teams do. I actually happen to be watching the Celtic game as we speak right now. They ended up coming back from 16 points and forcing overtime. Game's tied with 2.5 minutes left. Celtics just shot a 3-pointer as I'm speaking, and it's a tie game. It's just horrible. It's not fun.
George?
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, obviously they got some sharpshooters on that team. They're world champions. And I mean, with Tatum and White and, but I agree with Joe. I mean, this game has just evolved into such a 3-point fest, FEST, by so many players and so many teams. It's gone completely opposite from what the NBA used to be in the days that we followed when we were, some of us were much younger. And, the physical contact and, driving the lane and the big guy standing under there and trying to, swat down the ball defensively. I mean, there's just, it's changed so much. I mean, to create an atmosphere like they have, that it's, kind of permeated all of basketball, college as well. But yeah, I could do with less 3-point attempts. I really could. That's my feeling too.
Basketball has changed probably more than any of the other major sports. over the years. So, to JB's point, in the Boston game that is going on right now, there's 2 minutes and 19 seconds left in overtime. It's Boston against the Pacers. The Boston has attempted 54 3-point shots.
Wow.
To 104 field goals. They have had 27 free throws. Now the Pacers have only attempted 36 3-pointers. So between the two, you're at what, 90 3-pointer shots you've attempted. That has changed the game so much. Like, you think back about like the Bad Boys era, and you talk about, defense, and there is no defense anymore because all they're doing is putting up these threes. I miss the old game.
Well,
I could watch the old game. This new game is hard to watch. And that's why I say, of all of the sports, this one has changed the most, I think, in my opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make my answer short as I can make an answer. It is unwatchable, period. There's a reason why we don't get the NBA ticket in this place, because it is awful entertainment. I'd rather be doing these shows, 9 million of them, than watching one of those games. And yes, George and I had the opportunity to cover the Bad Boys era, much better brand of basketball. And why it isn't the way it used to be, to me, is just sick. But you know what? The NBA, if this is a product that they choose to put on the floor, fine. But you're going to have a hard time with all these gimmicks that you're trying to get people interested in the game when you took the best element out of it, and that was defense and the physicality that made the game popular back in the 80s, 90s, and early in the 2000s. Now you've shifted away to this. Okay, so from one sick NBA subject to another one. Okay, Charles Barkley on Joel Embiid's load management. We're not steel workers. We're not nurses. We're playing basketball at most 4 days a week. Really? Seriously? Yes, Chuck Barkley, I agree with you. But Joel Embiid, load management, that's another thing that has actually made the NBA as woeful as it is. We're not going to be gaining any NBA followers or fans. But you know what? There's perception and there is reality. And Charles Barkley is like everybody else out there, only with a larger platform. And his voice is definitely on target. All right, Joe, take it from there.
Listen, the whole load management thing is, ridiculous. You play 4 times a week, you're getting millions of dollars to play. If you can't play 4 times a week, and then you shouldn't collect millions of dollars. You can't have it both ways. If you want to get paid the money, you want people to come and watch the game and go, sign up for your package. You want to get advertising, you got to play the game. This is just, it's sad. It's at most, if you play a full game, it's 48 minutes. And you play 48 minutes times 4, it's not even 200 minutes. You can't do that in 1 week. Get out of here. That's just pathetic.
Yeah, well, not only have to add Kawhi, we can add Kawhi Leonard as a guy that gets a lot of money, doesn't play any games. But I'll turn it over to George.
Yeah, I mean, here you got one of the top players, obviously, not only on the 76ers, but the whole league. This load management is a joke, and it really is. And the fact that the Sixers, were fined, what was it, $100,000 or some crazy figure, because of come on now, you're playing for the fans, you're playing for, you say you're playing for your team, but also your city and your fandom. And the fact of the matter is that, and I believe, Charles is a great guy to have anytime, and speaking out like he does. This is really absurd what's going on with this load management. There's no logical explanation. I am sorry. And like he said, those people out there working on the assembly line, working in construction jobs, whatever, doctors, emergency room, whatever, putting in hours after hours, in their occupation. And to see these guys take nights off, take load management time off, forget it. It stinks. It stinks.
Joe, sorry to interrupt. 5-1 Yankees, bases loaded for the Dodgers, and who else would be up? Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see if he hits another one. If he does it, once we get the bat, it's double nickels. We'll keep you posted as we go along. Candy, go ahead. What's your take on load management?
Okay, Joe says they play four times a week. I work 5 days a week. I work 52 weeks out of the year. Yes, I get vacation. I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky. I get 4 weeks of vacation. They get how many weeks of vacation because they're off? Let's face it, all of them are off at least starting in June. June, July, August, September. They get 4 months off. Now, on top of all of that, the average ticket price for the NBA this year is $94 for a seat. $94. Now, if I'm going to pay $94 to go see whoever it is I want to see, and you're going to tell me now that they're going to have the night off because they need load management, that's a bunch of bullcrap. And you are going to drive more and more fans away, or casual fans. You're just going to push away the people, the average fan, the families. Because let's face it, what family of 4, if your average prices are $94, are going to can go to a game?
Well, so the NBA has to have the NBA Cup to make the season interesting during the year. And of course, they have their playing game at the end of the year. Oh, great. Okay. But meanwhile, I already just mentioned it twice, right? 3-pointers are killing the game. Load management is, so you can come up with all the gimmicks you want. It doesn't make a bit of difference at all. The sport, to me, it's unwatchable. I don't want to be bothered with it. Why do I bring up NBA topics on here? The only thing good about the NBA is they have great things for us to talk about, so I can't complain about that. Also, Freddie Freeman with a single driving home 2 runs. The Yankees, there's 2 outs in this contest. The Yankees still lead the Dodgers 5-3 in the top half of the 5th inning. All right, final topic of the night is one that Candy and I should be all too familiar with, and George. Okay, the Detroit Lions have won 4 of 5 games versus the Green Bay Packers. They lost November 23rd, 2023, 29-22. They won 34-20 on September 28th of 2023. They won 20-16 January 8th of 2023. They won 15-9 November 6th, 2022. And they won 37-30 on June 9th, 2022. Who was winning on Sunday, Joe?
Detroit Lions. I don't see how anybody's beaten them at this point. They played a horrible game last week, and they scored 52 points. I mean, how many yards did Goff have? 80? 80-something yards?
I think 84, if I remember right.
Yeah. I think you're correct. I mean, and they still had 50-something points. The Packers aren't beating this team this year. Packers are doing great. They're way ahead of where they should be on the rebuild, and they're fun to watch, but it ain't happening right now.
George?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a game that obviously a lot of the players from both teams and their fans had circled on the calendar, as Scott mentioned, and Candy's been a witness to too of many of these games when they battle Detroit. It's great football, it really is, and some of them have been knocking each other out of the playoff picture, or a Hail Mary pass like Aaron Rodgers threw at the game in Ford Field that we were at. I agree with what Joe says. I mean, they are a little bit ahead of their pace. I mean, they're playing good ball, the Packers, but the Lions, they're rolling, and 6-1, and the different things they showed last Sunday, like you said, with their quarterback not even getting 100 yards passing, and you're winning at 52 points. Of course, they had turnovers they capitalized on, and obviously special teams had a lot to do with Detroit's big win over Tennessee. But I always look forward. These are the divisional matchups, as they used to call it, the black and blue division. And I know there's question whether Jordan Love will be able to play obviously with his groin injury, but even if he doesn't, it'll still be a hell of a game. We're looking forward to seeing it, and but I wouldn't count the Lions to lose the way they're playing right now.
Well, go ahead, Candy.
The all-time series, Packers lead 104 to 76 to 7. Green Bay's 104 regular season wins over the Lions are the second most it has against any team. Only 106 wins over Chicago, believe it or not. But yes, the Lions have had our numbers more as of lately because the Lions are a much more improved team. It will be a very good contest. These two teams play each other tough no matter what the regular season, the rest of their regular season record is. Detroit is obviously firing on all cylinders. Green Bay is finding ways to win and even win with Malik Willis because now we have not lost, knock on wood, with him. So I think it'll be an interesting matchup, and it also is in Green Bay, which does favor hopefully a hometown crowd. Now the one caveat to that is this is the Milwaukee season ticket holder game. For those of you that don't know, the Packers used to play 3 to 4 games every year down in Milwaukee at the old county stadium. They kept those season ticket holders that had those. They now call them the gold package up in Lambeau. And so there are a bunch of people from Milwaukee that still have season tickets. Now, whether they go and make the trip up to Green Bay, I can tell you, because I obviously am from Milwaukee, that there are some fan base sites on Facebook that are asking all the Milwaukee season ticket holders to not sell their tickets to Lions fans. And we've all heard that before, like that happens. But I can tell you that the fact that it is in Lambeau does give us a little better of a chance. You guys are really tough at home. You're tough anywhere, but you're really tough at home. So I'm glad that the first meeting is in Lambeau.
Well, I think the Lions are glad that the first meeting is in Lambeau at the beginning of November, that it would be later on in the year. I'm not saying it'll be very good at the end of the year, but I've been to Lambeau a few times. Folks, if you've never been to Lambeau, you have to put that on your bucket list. I've been there a few times. It's just unbelievable. You're in awe of the history around the whole place. Just remarkable. But, yeah, I realize that Green Bay has the all-time series. They won over 100 games against the Lions. You're talking about playing against a lot of bad Lion teams. I also was at that Hail Mary that George and we were both at on Candy's birthday. And while it was painful to watch the Lions lose, I have to say that the soft side of me was glad that they won it for Candy, because unfortunately her mom passed away weeks earlier. So Candy got to see her only game at Ford Field. Turned out to be a classic for sure. But it'll be an interesting game to watch. And yes, the X factor in this game is Malik Willis. Now, as I understand today, that Jared Goff sat out today's practice. I know he's nursing an ankle injury. Just a sign of caution. No big deal. But you might as well go ahead and get Hendon Hooker a few reps just in case you need them. But when you talk about beating Tennessee, the reason why the Tennessee Titans are so poor is they gave up on Malik Willis and didn't give this guy enough time to develop there. Look where the Titans are now. They're sorry as you can be at 1-7. It's only going to get worse. What quarterback are they going to draft and wreck the next time? I don't even know. But I'm definitely looking forward to the game for sure. What, Candy?
So as you compare the two teams so far this year, when you look at offense, total yards, Detroit is 4th, the Packers are 6th. Passing yards, Detroit is 11th, the Packers are 9th. Rushing yards, Lions 6th, Packers 5th. Points, you guys are 1st, Packers are 6th. Third down conversions, you guys are doing much better with them. You're 7th and we're 15th. Now on defense, total yards, you guys are 20th, we're ranked 16th. Passing yards, you guys are ranked 27th. we're ranked 19th. Rushing yards, you guys are ranked 5th. We're ranked 10th. Total points, you guys are 8th. We're 11th. Third down conversions for defense, you guys are 1st and we're 9th. So it's a lot closer than I think a lot of people, if you look at those numbers are a lot closer than I think most people think this game might be.
The main thing I believe the Lions have to do before the trade deadline, they've yet to do it, but I don't put nothing past Brad Holmes, as they need to bolster that pass rush is what they need to do to make up for the loss of Aiden Hutchinson. They're managing without it so far, but I don't think you can win a Super Bowl without a dominant pass rushing guy. And I think that the Lions are just not looking to overpay, which is why they'll probably make a move closer to the deadline and see who's willing to sell low. But we've seen a lot of moves made.
I was going to say,
ahead.
Scott, you're right on, because when you're that close to trying to get something that's obviously been unachievable in Detroit, getting to a Super Bowl game, you got to pull out all the stops. Unfortunately, with Aiden Hutchinson hurt, there's still a possibility he could still make the playoffs. We don't know that, but the fact is, there's guys out there, and you're right. Brad Holmes has got to make a signing or two, because that defense, I mean, even the first half against Tennessee, I mean, they did not play well at all, the Lions defense, and it's got to get upgraded. They got to have more pressure on the quarterback. Definitely.
Well, there's some edge rushers out there. It's just a coincidence how much draft capital does he want to give up for him?
Right.
That's all.
Right.
But I think he'll make a move closer to the deadline for sure. So, anybody else? Anybody want to? I have a few minutes for a couple parting shots. Joe, do you have one?
We should quick say that the Yankees-Dodgers game is now tied 5-5 in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers put a 5 spot on the Yankees. It's going to get interesting the rest of the way. All right, now I'll go back to what I said before. Anybody have any parting shots? They're doing well on the time.
Yeah, so I'll start. Yankees made a huge splash a couple of years ago. They got this Cy Young Award winner named Garrett Cole. He was the answer to our problems why we haven't won a World Series since 2009. $40 million a year to play 1 out of every 5 days. And guess what? When the lights shine biggest on him, it's 5-5 in a game we must win in the World Series. And Garrett Cole did not do his job as usual. $40 million wasted dollars. Thank you, Garrett Cole.
And by the way, Giancarlo Stanton is currently at the plate right now. He has 7 home runs this postseason. George, what about you?
Well, on a personal note, I just want to say we lost one of our media contacts here. Chad Crunk has left the Detroit Tigers, and I know that Chad has helped out Scott and Candy and myself throughout the several years that we've known you, Chad. We want to wish you the best of luck, whatever your new endeavor carries for you. It was great having you in the Tigers public relations department, and again, we want to thank you, the South Florida Tribune, the Detroit Monitor, the Motor City Tribune, for all the courtesies that you've extended, and we're going to miss you. That's a tough assignment. It's a tough job, as we know, being a team's PR director, but best of luck to you, Chad.
What about you, Candy?
Well, I'm going to go back to somebody that we haven't talked about. Well, we haven't talked about it here on, but congratulations to Bo Ryan. He spent 32 years coaching in basketball. He was selected for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. He is a legendary coach. And will be enshrined among basketball greats in the class of 2024. He coached for the Badgers for, oh gosh, I can't even tell you. I mean, he started in UW Platteville, went to UWM, and then he went to the Badgers for an incredible run. He was at the game this last weekend, and they had players from 2014 and 2015 when they had those great runs that joined him on the court at Madison. kudos to him. He was a great coach. So that's my parting shot.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what my parting shot is. Actually, not a parting shot, a parting comment. There's a guy that I met at National Sports Media Association. His name is Steve Holman Sr., who on opening night called his 3,000th consecutive game on radio for the Atlanta Hawks. Congratulations, Steve. I'm hoping to get him on a show at some point or another. We've talked about it. It's just a matter of getting the schedules and the situation to work out. But Steve Holman, 3,000 consecutive games on radio. If that guy is not an Ironman, then tell me what the heck an Ironman is. I don't know. That is an unbelievable accomplishment, Steve, and really proud to have you as a friend and a colleague. So, with that said, Candy, take it home.
The host of this show wrote a book, and we published it from the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company. It is called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, wrote it. George Eichhorn wrote the foreword. Talks about Scott and George's 40 plus years in the industry. But Scott has all kinds of interesting stories, some cool pictures. You got to get your copy today, or better yet, get a copy for all your friends and family, because we know the holidays are coming up. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, or Google Books and get your copy today. You can also find a link to on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where all three of these fine gentlemen write for us. I take pictures. Go check out our stories. Go check out all the other interesting things on our website. We also have a merchandise line for South Florida Tribune. There's a link on our website as well. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can get your wherever you get your podcasts, you can listen to us. If you'd like to email us, if you want show ideas, you want to be a guest, southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you want to sponsor a show or advertise, call Scott, 954-304-4941. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday nights on Sports Exchange, you just never know what we're going to be talking about. And Fire Up on Thursdays, you just never know what we're going to be talking about as well. So you got to tune in. On preceding the show on nofilter.net, Scott does the Motor City Madmouth show. And then tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m., he does Fire Up Florida, which is the NHL hockey show. He talks all kinds of hockey, especially Florida Panthers. But there is a programming note I will let everybody know. Next week, Monday, we are going to do football and then baseball, because we are asking all of you to do your civic duty and exercise your right to vote. Back to you, Scott.
Well done, Candy. All right, with that said, JBL, let's let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
JB_ the program on X, Sideline Sports, 8:30 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday, here every Wednesday, and Confidential. SidelineSportsNet.com is the great website, which Scott, George, myself, and all the sideline people write on. Candy puts up some pictures. Great being back, guys.
Let alone the fact you built it from scratch, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you back, Joe. It really is. So
I appreciate it.
I got a lot more things on my baggage tracks. We had to let you get your feet wet until we go out there and start bringing on maybe a fifth person from the outside to be an adjoining partner. All right, George, go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on the South Florida Tribune website. I'm a columnist under the Motor City Tribune. At the end of my column, there's a right there. There's a book that I plugged, and the book I wrote. Thank you, Candy, for the photograph. By the way, that is Gordie Howe on the cover there with Bud Lynch. Some people have been asking me, who in the heck is that? And that mascot has already been long retired by the Red Wings. I guess they didn't like that red wing or the bird, whatever it was. So, but anyways, you can get a hold of me on eBay. They have the book as well, and so does Amazon. You can follow me on the South Florida Tribune pages, and I contribute to the 108 Stitches show, and of course the Sports Exchange and any other programs. And love working with all of you guys. It's been great. Reach me on X at SanG Sports 99, or just good old Yahoo at gicorn@yahoo.com. Thank you.
Candy said our thing. Want to thank Joshua Dorr and Blows for being in the chat room tonight. And obviously, we've enjoyed everybody's company. Those that are tuning us in on YouTube as well. We have them on LinkedIn, X, and of course, Facebook as well. So vote me well on behalf of JB Ellis, George Icorn, and Candy Ebling. My name is Scott Morgan off the Motor City Mad Mouth. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Sports Exchange. We'll see you next Wednesday night, same time, same station. Good night, everybody, and have a great week. And like Candy said, go out there and do yourself some good and go out there and vote. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Bye now.